Sounds good. So I'll call the special JP&L meeting to order. We have 2 members present and 1 excused.
Okay.
It is 7:46 p.m. on Monday, May 10th. Okay, we have pretty much, well, a couple of items here, but first and foremost, we are looking to figure out our process and identify individuals to appoint to the vacant positions. Sarah, is that, I guess I was a little confused. I thought we were going to be discussing that and then what's it called? Appointing on the 17th, but we will be this evening making the recommendations. Is that accurate?
Yes, so so that we can have them on the 17th board agenda, we would need the recommendations this evening.
Okay, all right.
Does that make sense? So that it would be in the memo for Thursday's packet.
Sure, sounds good. I didn't know if we were going to, rank them separately beyond this, but.
Yeah. And if there's something, I know the Open Spaces Committee needs action fairly quickly, but if there's something that needs further discussion, there are some of them that could potentially come back. But if we could get as much, if not all, possible for the 17th, it's just easier to discuss it at 1 meeting than 5. So that would be good.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so a couple of things, since this is a new committee structure with us. Unfortunately, like I said before, Melissa isn't feeling well, so it'll just be Arthur and I, but we will fill her in post meeting. And of course, if she has any objections or any further discussion is needed, then we will have that on the May 17th JP&L committee meeting.
Yep, absolutely. And I can follow up with the notes with her, just kind of what happened if she has any questions in between.
Okay, sounds good. So first and foremost, okay, so let me just grab, sorry, I lost my page here. It looks like we have 2 spots on the Board of Appeals, 3
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep, 2 on the Board of Appeals, 3 on Board of Review, 4 on the bid, which they provided recommendations, 2 for Elder Services, 10 for the Open Spaces Committee, 2 for Public Art, which were also provided recommendations, and then 2 on the Recreational Advisory Committee.
Okay, fantastic. So one of the things that we'd kicked around, and I was hoping that we could clarify, sorry to turn up my brightness here, is what we are looking for as far as filling the positions. And I can open it up to the floor, but Arthur, if you don't mind, if I just briefly give my two cents here.
Go for it.
So first and foremost, we want to, at least I would like to ensure that anyone who wants to serve on any of the boards, committees, and commissions not only has interest in working with others in a respectful and responsible way, but also understands their charge. And there's a variety of ways to do that. But I will be giving higher preference to those who have at least witnessed 1 meeting in the past. And, in today's day and age, well, unfortunately, the last year, almost or all of our meetings have been virtual. However, even predating that, anyone has had the opportunity to witness a meeting in person or virtually. So I know that's not always possible, but I would not want, I would think that even if we did appoint someone who hasn't done that, it would be on the under the contingency that they would have to understand, well, preferably they would witness a meeting in advance. So I'm not really sure how we would work that out. Maybe we won't even need to worry about that at this time.
Yeah, and that might be something we need, for next year if we want to kind of work in evaluate. It's tough when there's a turnover year, kind of. And so when you could start some of that process a little sooner than April and then kind of plan that out with people. But with our time frame, this is kind of where we're at with that. So that's, you know, I think the tough part about April election and then appointing right away for May meetings. But yes, agreed.
Okay. And then Arthur, did you have anything that you wanted to add to the?
No, I think, the only thing that I would add is, I agree with you on that, coming onto one of these boards or commissions, that you should probably have, some interest in that particular topic. You should watch a meeting. I agree with you 100% on that. But I think, in our application process, the way it's set up right now, people are able to fill like 4, 5, 6 different things, out, and we're getting lots of applications with people that are just kind of all over the board, that want to be part of the police commission, but also want to be public art. And it just, it's hard to really gauge where their interest is. So it looks to me that they just want to be a part of a board. And, so I would give more weight to folks that maybe their number one interest or their only interest is whatever board that they're applying to. That's just my gut feeling. Looking at the Parks and Recs, there's some people that just want to do, or not Parks and Recs, but the Recreation Advisory Board. There's just people that want to do that. And I would lean towards those folks because that's where their interest lies. So that's just kind of my thought. I think it's good to be able to have a catch-all. So, obviously we're, looking through the applications. I think we're short on a lot of these committees and commissions, or at least there's people that have applied for basically everything. The same person has applied for, going through applications. I see the same guy's name in almost every one of these applications. So, it's kind of a turnoff for me a little bit, but I think it's needed because we need people in these groups. So, I think going forward, this process, is really, and I don't know how it's been handled in the past, but I think we really need to figure out how to recruit more people from our community, because we have a ton of really, really qualified folks that are interested in a lot of these groups and commissions, and I don't see them applying for any of them. So it'd be really nice to really, get the word out there. And I know we've sent postcards, but I think it's maybe up to us as trustees to really utilize our networks and really recruiting, people that we know that would be good for these, friends or not friends, to sign up for these boards, because, we have a lack of interest in a lot of these groups, and there's a lot of valuable opinions in our community that could be represented here. So just some of my thoughts.
Definitely. Okay. All right, then Sarah, I don't know if you have any advice on how to proceed here, because since we have so many different.
Yeah. So I would suggest, why don't we take one committee at a time?
Okay.
And I can start. So Board of Appeals and Board of Review, I staff both. So I'm happy to provide a little insight as staff liaison. Just looking at the applications, I would say that Kara Aspara and Wendy Smith would be good fits for Board of Appeals. And then there were just 3 applications for Board of Review, and evaluating all 3, I don't see any issue with any of those individuals being appointed to the Board of Review. I think like the tough thing for that one is it does only meet once a year. So people typically aren't coming, and we don't always hear cases either. So people aren't coming to attend a meeting like that where it's a little different. But those would be kind of my recommendations for those 2.
Can you repeat who you have for Board of Appeals?
Yep, I have, and I'm maybe botching people's names, so I apologize. It's Kara Aspara and Wendy Smith.
Okay.
Okay.
And then for Board of Review, I had Stephen Isaacson, Dan Homschild, and Elizabeth Beagley.
And Sarah, for the Board of Review, since it's only an annual meeting.
Yep.
The individuals can serve on other committees and commissions as well.
They have in the past. I haven't had anybody recently. They have in the past, and I know like some people will serve as alternates. So yes, it's not obviously as exciting. It depends. If you have multiple hearings that are going to be heard at the Board of Review and it's going to be more than a day, a lot can happen for them in a couple weeks, but that's not always the case. So they're definitely gonna sign up for at least 1 2-hour meeting for sure, and training.
Okay. All right. So, sorry, I'm just grabbing I somehow closed some of these tabs here. Forgive me, guys. It's been a really long day.
That's okay, same. And I would just need motions on anybody that we're appointing. I know there's only 2 of you, but
Understandable.
at least it's a little more formal.
So maybe I could ask a few questions regarding the recommended slate for both the Board of Appeals and Board of Review. Or Arthur, I don't know if there's anything different from what she had or what Sarah had just mentioned as far as these 2 groups.
No, I'm just kind of going back through the applications just to see if anything stuck out about those the 2 individuals, at least for Board of Appeals. It seems like everybody's fairly qualified, and I think you're right in the beginning is we just want people that are, willing to collaborate, willing to, obviously we don't want all the same opinions on boards. We want people to be able to, we want different opinions. So I think that's important, but I think more so is the openness to, even though if you have different opinions, to collaborate and to work through things in a proper way. So it's hard to really tell that in a lot of these applications for sure, but I think we have some very qualified people here.
I did have a question regarding Karen Tidwell. I see her application is in here as well.
No, she is the chair of Board of Appeals, so she
Oh,
the
these
chair
are her
assists-
recommendations.
Correct, yep,
I was
the
wondering
chair
why she
assists
was
with-
applying again.
Yep,
Okay.
no.
And then, Sarah, going through all these applications, there's just so many different styles of applications. Is there a way that we can eventually just kind of create a unified sort of
Yeah, so
application?
part of it is we got the new application out before, and some people had already filled out an application, so we kept that one. I think the difficult part is some people write it out, some people submit it online, so it looks very different. Some people fill out the PDF and then email it to me. But I think that's, maybe we need a meeting, for what process will be next year, and we need to include that with that, what that's going to look like. Because one thing, not to get off track, but to your point, Arthur, if you're looking for people, I think one thing we could do better at as a village is let people know what vacancies we have instead of just submitting for all broad, so like the library board doesn't have vacancies this year, right? So you could have people who are really interested, and not that they couldn't have a vacancy. But it's tough for those people who, if they've only put 1 or 2 things and there's no vacancies there, they've taken their time to submit an application where at this time we don't have anything.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if that's how we've done things in the past by recruiting, but I know we've got public arts, and I know the 2 people that were recommended in public arts, at least one of them signed up for about 6 different boards, and I know there's people that are just so specifically art focused in our community that would be fantastic for this board. I just don't know if they understand, or maybe they don't have the time, or maybe they need a little encouragement, and I'd love to maybe help out with that a little bit more. So I think, just being aware of where we are with all these boards and commissions and what we need. And, I'd love to encourage people that I think would be really fantastic for some of these groups.
Yeah. Because I think we struggle, like I know we've been struggling to get applicants for public art. I know we've been really struggling. Now, we don't have really any design review board, but we have struggled for design review board in the past. So there's certain ones we struggle to get. And then there's others that we have an abundance of. So, that's something, I guess, to talk about as we go for the future.
Yeah, I guess we should probably stay focused here and figure
That's all right.
Do you want to, maybe it would be great if maybe like Sarah, if you could just go through your list of recommendations for each of these, and then I'll write down the names. We can kind of go back and cross-reference some of these applications, or if there's anybody that stuck out.
Sure. So that was Board of Appeals, then was, like I said, Kara Spar and Wendy Smith. Board of Review then was Stephen Isaacson, Dan Hanschild, and Elizabeth Beagley. And then Steph Salva submitted for the bid. Kimberly Hall with Signature Suites. Michael Connor, it looks like with Dominion Properties, John Cray, Jay Cray, I think, and then Geraldine Bell Skaggs. So those are the 4 that were submitted by the bid.
Good. And that was part of a bid meeting, the last bid meeting. They reviewed all the applications and they're all just fantastic candidates. I think there's a lawyer, a developer, Kimberly from Signature Suites, who's been a really big addition to our village. Plus with Jean Webb leaving, she's going to kind of fit into that role of food and, the food and, that kind of the bakery sort of aspect of the bid, and then a mental health, somebody that's dealing with mental health. So, so I think it's a really, really great group of people coming in.
All right, well, I mean, I don't know if it, and I agree, and I was very happy that the bid was, instrumental in this, and upon reviewing the applications and looking, at the existing members, I feel that, in the absence of the formal interview process, they all committed or completed their applications rather with much detail. So I am quite confident. So I guess we could make a motion on that one, or do you?
Yeah,
Is that
would be fine.
okay? So I will move to approve the slate of candidates provided by Steph Salvia for the bid. I'm not going to read all the names, but Kimberly, Michael, Jay Cray, and Geraldine.
Yep.
Belske. Forgive me if I slaughtered them.
I'll second that. And then Sarah, just one note. I've talked to Steph about this a couple of times now, and I've been meaning to talk to you about it, but is there a way that she can also get the applications for people that are interested, because she doesn't get the applications and they're recruiting people, and then she doesn't know if people have applied, so she's wondering if there's a way.
We could probably set her up in our Dropbox to that folder. I don't foresee that being an issue.
Okay.
So
maybe that's something that we'll just have you guys connect on offline, and
I'll touch base with her.
That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, and Sarah and I have touched base a couple times, and I don't know if you all have as well. So I understand the urgency of getting a lot of these spaces filled, and also with reopening with City Hall or Village Hall, excuse me, as well as in-person meetings. It would be nice to have the committees have their membership when all of that happens as well. Otherwise, I would have lobbied more for kind of staggering this approach, and maybe that's something in the future. But I think with this last year being rather unique, and rebounding off of that, I'm fine with that. So anyway, do we have any further discussion on this, Arthur?
Okay.
Nope, not on the bid.
Or is that how we have to do it, Sarah? We just.
Yep, that's it. So that would be it for the bid. So we can cross that one off as done. Next, I would go to public art, just because they also submitted 2 names, so it's a little easier to go through. Public art met on May 5th, and they submitted Deborah Medine and Kevin Weber.
Okay.
And I just from being from the process with the bid, I feel like if these organizations are asking for these 2 folks, then they've done their diligence, and I would tend to want to go with their recommendations. One of, as I think Kevin applied for several boards, and I'm not sure. I think public art was probably not as top of his list. So I don't know if they've given you a little bit more insight into why they chose these folks, but.
I'm not exactly sure, and I apologize, I wasn't at the public art meeting. I do believe Diane Buck did reach out to each of them though. So they were pretty thorough in their touch points with the applicants.
And I stand corrected here. They're both of the candidates, their second choice was public art. So with Kevin Weber, design review board was his first choice, public art was his second choice. And with Deborah was parks and public spaces as her first choice, and public arts is her second choice. So, that's great. I don't know if we're going to be short with public spaces. Do we have the potential 10 applications. I know we have 3 returning.
There's 3 returning. I think there is quite a few for public spaces. Let's, do you want to go to, so if I could have a motion on the public art, that would be great.
So
Yeah,
moved.
so moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes 2-0. I would take elder services next, just because they're a little bit smaller.
Okay.
So they did not supply me with any names, but they did kind of go through, they're looking with people with nursing or medical backgrounds, knowledge of alternative housing options, and understanding wellness and concerns for older adults. And anyone, you know, doers, creative problem solvers. So if there was anybody that stood out to you guys, I know that it looks like that Rosina Bloomingdale has a background in nursing.
Yeah, she stuck out to me in the application process. I think she was really well-spoken in a lot of her answers.
Yeah, very thorough.
Yeah, she really took the time to fill it out.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, that gives us a lot of insight, especially since we're not doing the in-person. But also, I mean, it's a commitment serving on these committees and commissions and
Yeah.
boards. So that's great. All right, sorry. I don't know why.
I really do like Jennifer Hartlaub as well. You know, she also has a nurse practitioner. And, you know, one thing I hate to say this, but her time in the village is really important. I feel it can be is important. You know, having 12 years in the village, she really kind of understands the village, you know, probably a little bit more than somebody that's been here for 4 months, which is also really impressive. A lot of the applicants are, you know, Shorewood 4 months, 5 months, you know, so we got a lot of new Shorewoodians that are interested in, you know, which is great. You know, I hate to discredit anybody from, you know, I think I probably applied for the bid my first year I was here or whatever, but I think somebody with 12 years experience really has a grasp on the community. So I would say, you know, Jennifer stuck out to me.
There's a Stephanie Houston that her occupation is senior outreach specialist.
Okay, Stephanie Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's also good. How, you need 3 people or 2
I need
people?
just 2 for this
2.
one. But you should rank, I would also rank 1 or 2, you know, depending on how many applicants we have. I would at least rank 1 or 2 more. If there's people, you know, that say we have multiple for this one, that if an opening would come out through the middle of the year, if somebody moves or has to resign for any reason, that we could go back then to a candidate that we would have liked to have selected and see if they're still interested. So they did that for Human Relations Commission that time, and it worked out very well.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah, I would say for me personally, Rosina is high up there, as well as I think it was Lisa as well. But then I would also throw in Jennifer, Rosina and Jennifer, and then Stephanie. So those 3 I think are, you know, those 3 would be high on my list.
I think so too. One of the reasons I did appreciate Stephanie, I believe it was her, was I mean, I know that both Rosina and Jennifer, they're both nurses, right? And Stephanie has more of the administrative side, perhaps, that might be helpful. So, I mean, to me, it's a lot of a toss-up. They're great candidates. So I don't know, I'm definitely down for Rosina as well for my top choice. And then I kind of am leaning towards Stephanie over Jennifer, but what I would say is we also could come back to this elder services, or even, you know, depending on how quickly we get through the rest, we could take a few minute break to like re-review those 2 applications if we wanted to, or we could just make a motion.
And like I said, you could always put Jennifer as a backup if either one of these would decline, or, you know, like I said, an opening comes up throughout the year. So
Well, Arthur, I mean, I'm not that strong on my second choice, so I don't know if you have a
You know,
preference.
I really, I think, somebody, Rosina, Rosina and Stephanie are probably the two up there, with Jennifer being a close third, to be honest with you.
All right, I agree with that. So let's go in that. I'll move for that. Rosina, Stephanie, and Jennifer.
Okay,
Does that work, Arthur?
Yeah.
Okay.
all right. So I'll take that as a motion in a second. All those in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes 2-0. All right, so that's done. Let's then go to Rec Advisory Board.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of detail from them because it's Jody Brooks who kind of oversees it, so we just appoint. And the two resignations came up fairly quickly, so I don't have a lot of information to provide you of what they're looking for.
I was on that board before.
Okay, so you could maybe provide some insight then, Trustee Backhorst.
So since it's deals with the rec services and it's kind of broad-based. I haven't served on it in quite some time, but for me at least, having a diversity of opinions and individuals who have maybe some relationship with the school district, also with community partnerships and organizations. There's a lot to look at, so sorry.
I will put Monica Livatore up as one of them. I think, she's got 2 children and has been very active within all the rec department programs. She just applied for this specifically. And I think, knowing her personally, Josh, she's married to Josh, who is on the conservation committee. And they're fantastic folks. So I would definitely recommend Monica for one of these spots.
Okay. I played softball with Monica ages ago.
Did you?
Yeah. When we got the women's softball league reinstated. And she's pretty no nonsense and a team player. So I don't know personally beyond that, which is fine. But she was able to fit into our kind of mismatched motley crew and and do pretty well. And I know Josh a lot more through the conservation committee and other kind of green initiatives and stuff in Shorewood. But I do like you said, her children are around your son's age.
Yeah. Yep. They're kind of just in, but one's a little older, one's a little younger. So, but they're just such active community members. They want to get, I think they'd be really great, collaborators. There's no, I don't see any drama there. I think they're just people that want to give back and do good work. So, I would definitely recommend Monica. There's another person that just filled out that was just interested in Rec Advisory Committee, Terry Spencer. His application isn't necessarily very impressive. There's not a ton filled out here, but okay, I get, oh, sorry. So, but he works with children he's like, he does a lot of financial work, and he helps children he helps children form diverse backgrounds, but I'm guessing that was from diverse backgrounds.
Probably.
I'm not quite sure what he meant there, but then we also have, let's see, Sarah, is it Sarah? I'm sorry, the application, Sarah Walson Helgren, who her first choice was Recreation Advisory Committee. And her application's, I think, much more, she's a little bit more thorough. She has a BS and a PhD in biomedical engineering, and extensive experience in neuroscience research. That's really great. I'm not sure how that helps the rec advisory committee, but I think she's got a pretty impressive background. Yeah, this is a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, there's also Cameron. I forget Cameron's last name. I really, and I don't know, he or she has a very diverse geographical background as well as professional and let's see, legal field. Okay,
Lumley.
okay. Cameron
Evan
did put
Biker.
that, yeah, Evan Biker did put down several different committees. Let's see.
Yep, she has, and so she has an old form too, so she has parks and ped. And so she could be considered for open spaces. So I don't know if you guys want to review
Oh.
this and then come back to it, you know, and look at open spaces, because I know some of these people
That's a good
applied
idea.
for both.
Yeah.
So we can kind of put some names out there and then maybe come back, you know, and make a formal motion after you look at open spaces.
I like that
I know
idea.
that'll be the biggest time filler.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, I agree too, and especially since others put only the rec advisory board or, you know, had ranked it higher. Then, so yeah, let's do that. When open spaces is quite a large one. Now, can I just, I need to ask a question here, a clarifying question. So back to Board of Appeals and Board of Review,
Yep.
we did not take a motion on
You have
this.
not taken a formal motion yet. So if you are still considering it, we just have to have a motion by the end of the before we adjourn.
Okay.
And is there anything, you know, for you to recommend these two, Sarah? Was there anything that stuck out to you? Why you recommended?
So just from the having an attorney background is very helpful to work through and navigate through some of these meetings, particularly with the last appeal or so, just to understand the legal aspect of it. So those were the applications that particularly stood out. Not that any other ones were not qualified to do it. It's just an understanding of some of the legal stuff when they're a little more complicated.
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking about the Board of Appeals.
Yep.
Well, are you fine with Kara and Wendy?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's, you know, I can make a motion. I move to approve Karen and Wendy. Sorry, I didn't write down their last names. I apologize.
Kara?
Yeah, Kara Spara and Wendy Smith.
Yeah.
So I move to approve Karen Aspara and Wendy Smith to the Board of Appeals.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Nope. Motion passes 2-0.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, then the rec advisory board, we're kind of coming back to that, and then the open spaces around the same time.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to make a motion on the Board of Review.
You know,
Sure.
the only thing that sticks out to me, and I'm not gonna let it get to me, but I just want to bring it up as you know, I've seen Elizabeth Beagley very upset about the development that's going in on you know, the potential for the development. So I get nervous when people apply for boards or committees because of an issue that they have with something in the community, you know, and I understand why somebody would want to do it, but we want people that are thinking holistically about the topics and not just coming onto boards because they're really frustrated about one particular thing. I just don't think that's helpful for a board, but that's just my opinion. And you know, I think Board of Review, I know she also applied for a Board of Appeals, which would have been directly affecting that the development. So, you know, like I said, I don't mind approving her because I do think it's important to have diverse opinions on these boards. I just you know, worry that somebody's just applying to a board because they're upset about something that's going on in the community, which I don't think is a bad thing. I just, you know,
Sure.
you know, I don't know how to vocalize that. I just, you know, I'd rather have people come on our boards that want to look at a holistically the board and not just one particular opinion, one particular topic. But
Well,
you know,
I agree with what you're saying. I think her city planning background here, I mean, the Board of Review is slightly different, and I feel that you know, reviewing her application, that I think that she would bring a lot of value
Mhm.
to that. But again, if if there were other applicants that, I forget if she put down, well, she put down a couple of different things.
Her background is really impressive. So I think that's probably the most important thing is you've got to kind of tune out maybe some of the stuff and say, well, she's got an impressive background. And, I appreciated how much time she spent on her application. So, I think this would be, I think she'd be really great for a board. I just hope that it's not for one specific item, but the board of review is, I've never been a part of the board of review. So could you refresh me on what that board actually does?
Yep, so they, it is anybody coming in to contest their assessment. So there's an attorney, it's the
Got it.
assessor, they take a training. It's very fact-based. So, this is how it goes. The assessor is always right until the person appealing can make their findings that they're correct on what they believe their assessment is. And that there's multiple, it's very guided. So
Perfect. Okay.
yeah, I
totally
think she would be a good fit. I was kind of looking
Yeah.
at her for both, and I thought board of review would be a really good fit for her.
I think that's she's got a terrific background, so I think she'd be great. And and like the bid, we've had plenty of people that were put into the bid that came in because they opposed one thing or they were mad about one specific thing, but I think being a part of that group really turned around their minds. They became part of the group and a very good collaborator. So I hate to think like that. I just I'm nervous when we appoint people that are just mad about one particular issue, and you hope that's that they can focus on many other things as well. So
I understand that. One of my only reasons for not wanting to appoint her to the board of review is because of her background. I think she would be really valuable in, a variety of places, including open spaces. But I am fine with, with the assessment made by, Sarah as well, because she has looked at this a little bit more and, been a part of the process for a lot longer. So was there anyone else? Did you want us only to have 3 for the board of review?
Yeah, so we only have 3 openings and we have 3 applications. So
Okay.
that's one of them that's also kind of not always fun to fill.
Okay, well then I guess I'll move.
I'll
to
second.
Stephen Isaacson, Dan Hanschel, and Elizabeth Beagley. Beagley or Beagley?
I think
Okay,
it's
board of review.
Yep.
Okay. And then Arthur seconded that.
All right, all those in favor?
I,
All right, motion passes 2-0.
okay. So,
All right, so we just have open spaces, and then once we kind of, firm up the 10 for open spaces, we can touch base then back on rec advisory, and then we are kind of done. So open spaces will probably take a little bit longer. So there's 13 spots, but
3 automatics.
3 automatically are back. So Enrique Figueroa, Libra Lost, and Bonnie Pedraza, yep, are both, or all 3 have applied. So they would fill the first 3 spots. So you have 10 more spots to fill with the applications on hand.
Okay, fantastic.
That's great. And I think, so Sarah, I had, I reached the leagues. I think they should be represented in open spaces. Did you end up receiving an application from Ian Barry?
I do not think so.
He had told me he filled it out and sent it in,
Okay.
like at the end of last week.
Did he send it by snail mail?
I'm not 100%. I could check with him. I think he probably did it online. But but I think it's really valuable to have somebody.
He sent it late Friday, and I haven't been back, and I have been out of the office.
Okay.
So,
Well, how about this, you guys, because I wouldn't mind taking a 5-minute bio break. We're really moving along here nicely.
sure.
Do you want to send that to us? And then we have about 5 minutes then to kind of regroup, since this has kind of changed my my chart here on a few things based on the recommendations. So does that work for you, Arthur?
Yeah, sure. I just, I've got, like I said, I'm on vacation, trying to be done at 8:45. Got dinner.
Oh, shoot, I thought we had a half an hour left. You're right, we don't. Okay, well, I feel if we took 4 minutes and
I
then.
just sent you the
Oh,
application. So should we
right.
take how about we do 3 minutes? You can review the application, take a quick bio break.
Okay, that works.
All right,
All right.
perfect.
Just so you know, Arthur, you're not on mute.
I'm not going to say or do anything weird, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'll mute just in case.
All right, it's just about 9:30 if you're ready. Trustee Bockhorse.
Yes, I'll call us back to order at 9 or 8.
8:30. I'm sorry, I'm an hour ahead of you.
Okay, and thank you. So, all right, so are we kind of doing these in tandem, the open spaces or a rec advisory board? How do you think work best?
I would start with open spaces because you have more to fill.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You know how many total we have here for open spaces? So I wish I had a list in front of me so we could cross off the people that have already been selected for other, because I know Dan is in here. There's a couple folks that are in here that we've already selected.
Okay. I don't know. Let me look if I can figure out how many total. 1 second. Yep, 22. Now that doesn't, like you said, there's 22 that have submitted. That doesn't mean we didn't appoint them to something else, but We have 10, so we should be able to find 10. We won't run out.
I'd love to identify the folks first that just want to look at, that are just interested in parks and public spaces. I think that they're, like I said, I'd put a little bit more weight to people that just want to be a part of those groups, or specific groups, I should say. So I'm looking at, let's see here, Heather Mansfield. Let's see, what's it, Donald Lodge. So Donald Lodge, Heather Mansfield. All right, let's go down the list here.
Gary Brunk did that.
Yeah, Gary Brunk. Yep.
Lindsay McGuire.
Now Eileen Lauer, she put down Parks Commission, which, because she filled out her application a while back.
Correct.
So I would say that, that's open spaces. Since that's the merging of that parks and ped and bike. Cameron, I believe.
Cameron might be he's one that also did a rec. So let's keep him kind of on the side here, because we need to fill that one, the rec space. I do like go with Janie Peterson, because I think the two boroughs she's interested in is conservation and parks and public spaces. So
Right.
I think there's some value with people that are really environmentally focused, and her occupation is environmental and water resource engineer. So definitely Janie is on my list.
Yep. We also have, did you say Deborah Medin?
I think she went into public art.
Yep, she's in public art.
Oh, that's right.
Remy Perez is another conservation and parks. He's been in the village 8 years. Heavy user of the public spaces in Shorewood.
Okay. We got Thomas Sams, who had has not attended a meeting yet though. Okay.
What about Kathleen Flynn Post? So she's been to other meetings, but Parks and Recs, Park and Open Spaces was her third choice behind Plan and Community CDA. So
nope, she's not. I apologize. I thought she's being appointed somewhere else. She is not.
She'd be, even though it's her third choice, I think she's got a great application. She's worked for Mayor John Norquist and former Senator Herb Cole. I'm not sure, I just think that, she's worked for Public Allies. Somebody with that kind of experience is always really, really great to have on board.
Definitely understands bureaucracy and intergovernmental relations.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's Sarah. Okay.
We've got Erin Povak, that's also conservation and parks, so I think it's another. She's a sustainability specialist, a parent, and a dance teacher. Well-rounded.
Did you see James Robinson? I don't know if you mentioned. It looks like he only applied for Parks and Public Spaces.
He's an attorney, which is also, I think it's always really valuable to have attorneys on a lot of these boards to really help navigate certain issues.
Also trying to, but balance men to women a little bit too.
Good call.
Did we mention Sarah? Sarah Walsh and
she was mentioned so Monica, Cameron, and Sarah were mentioned for rec. But I believe Cameron and Sarah both applied for open spaces. So that's kind of where you'll want to have the discussion.
Did Andrew Storinsky, is he somewhere else? Is there interest in putting him somewhere else?
No, he was not assigned anywhere else
Okay.
because he was not appointed to the CD or plan, and HRC and bid did not have openings. I mean, he was not part of the bid, but HRC did not have openings.
All right, so the ones the folks that I really like right now, Kathleen Post, Janie, Ian Barry. I think those are very valuable assets. James,
Are we talking about open spaces?
yeah, open spaces right now. Yep.
Okay, I like Eileen. I know Cameron is cross-listed here. Let's see, Heather Mans, Gary
Yep.
Brunk, Donald Lodge, and Janie.
Yep. Remy is also so.
Okay, hold on. Let me count how many I have. So with Heather, Gary, Donald, Remy, Janie, Kathleen, James, and Ian, I have 8. You need 2 more.
Wait, don't we already have 3 from before?
10. 10. You have to fill 10.
With the 3 that are coming back, so it's 13
So
total,
it's 13 total, correct. So I've deducted the 3 off already.
Okay, will you count that again? Because I counted 8. You said those are 7?
No, I have 8. So I have 8. I'm sorry, you have to fill 2 more. My math is bad.
Okay. Would you mind reading the names again? I'm really sorry.
Sure. So I have Heather Mansfield, Gary Brunk, Donald Lodge, Remy Perez, Janie Pedersen, Kathleen Flynn Post, James Robinson, and Ian Barry.
Okay, and then I had Eileen Lauer and Cameron.
Cameron might be good for, we need somebody for rec department. So if we can find somebody else, it'd be great to have him in the rec department because he has that listed as well.
Okay, and for the rec, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So for parks, you'd mentioned these 3: Lindsay McGuire, Mary Jorgensen, and Andrew Straczynski.
Looking at one application here that is, oh, where did I just lost it? So many applications.
No.
Mary, do we talk about Mary Jorgensen? So she's been in Shorewood for 47 years, and she's really focused on like pedestrian issues. That could be somebody that would be a valuable resource. She's interested in presenting the needs and viewpoints of older village residents, many whom walk and they must, or recreationally, or many of whom walk because they must, or recreationally, and of residents who have physical disabilities or use adaptive equipment.
I like that. That brings up, especially given that open spaces. Yeah. Oh,
we got Donald Lodge. What about, so I have a woman, Erin, written down. Did we, she was also just this, I gotta find her. Lindsay McGuire was interested.
And remember, you can also put people,
okay.
like, you can rank them if there would be openings, right? If somebody would decide to quit or.
Remy Perez.
We're fortunate to have so many good applicants.
Josh Pollock is going somewhere else, right?
He is, yes.
Okay, so Aaron Povak, I am new to Shorewood and have not attended meetings yet. Sustainability specialist. Let's see, I grew up in the North Shore, moved away and have some adventures and build a career in sustainability for 15 years. Let's see. James Robinson. Kathleen Stegen, clinical scientist, infection prevention. I want to get back to my community, California. I studied clinical science in UW Cross. My family includes a brother-in-law and nieces and nephews who live and work in Mexico. That's a diversity background.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna digress slightly. Did we hit the Public Arts Committee yet or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay, thanks.
Sarah Wallstrom Helgren, did we find a place for her?
So she was a consideration for rec advisory.
Okay.
So it was Monica, Cameron, and Sarah.
Okay, and let's see, she wanted, let's put Monica and Sarah, because she put first, her first choice was rec, and then we'll put Cameron
Okay,
with open spaces.
I like that.
Okay, so here's what I have for open spaces. I have, let me just count it first. Oh, I have 11 now. So I have Heather Mansfield, Gary Brunk, Donald Lodge, Mary Jorgensen, Remy Perez, Janie Pedersen, Kathleen Flynn Post, James Robinson, Ian Barry, Eileen Lauer, and Cameron Lumley.
And we need to remove one.
Yep.
I think Cameron, this wasn't his first choice, right? So I hate to do that to him, but we need to make a tough choice. Let me just get to his application.
I gotta go back to Cameron's because that was one of my top choices for a couple of things here.
Was it? Cameron Lumley. Yep. Okay, here we go. Parks and Rec, Parks Commission was his first choice. Okay, be good.
There was talk about potentially putting Kathleen Flynn Post somewhere else. I don't know if that's totally been decided. So I know she's really good, but that might be one to save to the side.
I'd love to see her somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So I'd hate to leave her out because she's got, you know, she's got what we need here in the village. Let's see. Mary Jorgensen. Mary, pardon. Donald Lodge. Yeah, that's tough.
Well, I mean, we could suggest this, that this is going to committee, right, Sarah?
No, it's not. There's no committee meeting.
I'm gonna make a tough call here, but let's put as the alternate.
Who? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Let's put Lindsay McGuire as the alternate, as the 11th.
I don't have her down. Sorry. You can make her an alternate, but I need somebody else.
Okay. So let's say we've got one guy, one female, one. I want to balance it out between men and women if possible here. Are we heavy on men versus women at this point, going through that list?
I think you're heavy on women. Hold on.
We have Gary, Donald, is
I think
Remy.
it's balanced. It would be balanced.
Okay.
We have one extra though. If we have 11, do we have one extra somewhere?
Yeah, you do. So you'd have to pull one off. But
You
you wouldn't be overly heavy woman or man. You'd only be off by one.
Do you have any input on this, Sarah? I mean, no, not to put you on the spot.
I don't.
Did I say Aaron?
I think the thing is like, looking at, like you said, like Kathleen Flynn Post is really good. My fear would be to put her on, not that she wouldn't be great on parks, but like if something would open up in Plan Commission or CDA that she had preference for,
I
she's
think we
now
could-
sitting on a committee. So that's my, yes, I know you want to appoint her, but at the same time, it is her third choice where many others had it as their first.
Right.
And then if something would open, then she's no longer in your pool of people either.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. I really have to go. I really apologize to do this to you all, but you know,
Well, let's pull her and then
Okay.
approve that slate. How about that, Arthur?
yeah, that's good.
All
And
right, so here's the slate. So it's Heather Mansfield, Gary Brunk, Donald Lodge, Mary Jorgensen, Remy Perez, Janie Pedersen, James Robinson, Ian Barry, Eileen Lauer, and Cameron Lumley.
Okay.
That's
So
fantastic.
if you could just make a motion for that.
So moved. Second.
All right, all those in favor?
I
All right, and then I just need a motion for Monica, and I believe then it was Sarah.
Sarah. Yep. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I
All right, motion passes 2-0. And we approve the Board of Review, correct? Yep.
yep.
So I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Perfect. All right, you're adjourned at 8:47.
Thank you,
hopefully we did
guys.
something good tonight.
Thank you.
3-minute break. Look at that. We kept it to an hour.
Hey,
Yep, good
if
job.
could you resend the people that we picked? Could you just kind of write up a little summary of who we all picked eventually and just send that out maybe tomorrow or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can double check and review.
Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Ooh,
Thanks.
during a vote. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.